Boom, man. We are back, Jets fans. We are going to tackle a couple more things pertaining to the Jets' future. So stick around to the end of the video. We are going to talk about why Kevin Cheveldayoff didn't go and trade for a big four defenseman. We're going to talk about where the Jets look to be in 2023 with their contract and cap situations. We're also going to go ahead and look at the future signees of the Winnipeg Jets, including Andrew Copp, Pierre-Luc Dubois, and what some of those big contracts may mean for the cap situation and the future of this team going forward. So stick with me through it. Let's drop to the intro.
Here's Lemieux. The center penalty coming up. Look at Lemieux. Oh my God. What a goal. Oh, baby.
Okay, before we get into the content today, I gotta say I have a lot of love for everybody that dropped a comment down below. Gouldy, I really like the fact that you want to give up 10 first-round picks for Cale Makar. Appreciate it. It's not going to happen. Anybody else, if you have any comments about the Lowry contract, anything we're going to talk about today, or the Winnipeg Jets in general, please leave a comment down below. And I'd also really appreciate that if you back-checked, forechecked, paychecked, and slam that like button down below. Please play some two-way hockey with me. Don't be a line A. Hit that like button. Thanks for joining. All right, first thing that we want to tackle today. We talked yesterday about the Seattle expansion draft. I think that Mason Appleton is going. I don't think they're going to sign Dylan DeMello. And what does that mean for Andrew Copp? Well, I think very similarly to what happened with Adam Lowry, I think Andrew Kopp's going to re-sign with the Winnipeg Jets, and he's going to re-sign at between $4.5 and $5 million. So let's call it $4.5 million. He's had an offensive breakout season this year. He is a fantastic player for the Winnipeg Jets, up and down the lineup. He plays a very defensive role, but he's exploded offensively this year. And you'll see as we get deeper into the video today where I think he projects to end up in the Jets lineup. Now, Winnipeg fans, the one thing you have to really just start taking into account is that the abundance of riches at forward and on the wing for the Winnipeg Jets are they're mind-blowing. The contracts that we have and the wingers that we have, including Andrew Copp, it's unbelievable. And we still have Vesalainen and Perfetti in the system coming up. I don't see a spot where either of those two players are going to fit into a top six role with Winnipeg. Whoa, pump the brakes before you go ahead and shred me. And I know that voice of public opinion, but Ryan, Cole Perfetti is an amazing player. He is amazing. First thing that we want to take a look at going forward is why Kevin Cheveldayoff didn't go ahead and sign a top four defenseman. Elkholm was available out there. There was a couple other players of note. But if you take a look at the Jets cap situation, especially with the fact that they just signed Adam Lowry, Copp is about to drop, the Seattle expansion draft, and frankly, the nightmare we're about to be in 2023, and we are going to be real tight. Real tight. And spoiler alert, we're still not going to have an amazing defensive core unless our players develop, which I think they will. Now, why did he not sign a top four defenseman? Well, I don't think Elkholm was a player that really was going to fit in. He plays on the left side again. He is a number 3-4 guy. He was the best defenseman available. He did have a good contract. He would be able to carry over to next year, and then he'd likely probably walk away. And then if you take a look at where the Jets salary cap situation lands with Lowry, Copp, and the future signees of the Winnipeg Jets, you'll see very quickly that there's really not a lot of room for them to sign them. So if the Jets are going to win a Stanley Cup, they're going to have to do it within the next 3 years. Their window is 3 years because you have 3 years left after this year on Hellebuck and Scheifele's contract. Those are your two franchise players. They're in on a steal of a deal right now. They'll probably only go up by then. If you don't think their contract's going to go up, let me know, but I think it's going to go up, especially with Carey Price hitting that $10 million threshold. So as those two players are locked into really good deals, you still have the elite Nikolai Ehlers and Kyle Connor in there as well, plus Blake Wheeler's still on the roster. Your window is going to be 3 years. So within that 3-year window, we're going to have to win it with depth at forward, a fantastic goalie, and we're going to have to cross our fingers that we can figure out these problems on the rush and keep some pucks out of the net and keep shots down low with the players that we have. All right, the Winnipeg Jets right now are sitting at a salary cap hit of about $84 to $84.3 million. This comes from capfriendly.com. If you haven't checked out that website, check it out. It is absolutely your answer for anything to do with money, contracts, difficult scenarios. And I know maybe this topic isn't the most fun for some people, but a lot of Winnipeg fans like to talk out their ass about what's going to happen with the Winnipeg Jets salary cap situation, and we'd love to play armchair GM, this guy included. We all think we can do it better than Kevin Cheveldayoff. We can't. Spoiler. But let's try to get in his head a little bit and see where he's going. So $84.339 million. We know that Brian Little comes off of that salary cap hit because there's what's called LTIR, and we end up with the Winnipeg Jets having 44 contracts, a roster size of 24, a reserve list of 59, and about $81.2 million, with the salary cap being, well, right around $81.5 million. So we're exactly where we need to be cap compliant. We'll take a little bit of a look here from capfriendly.com, and you can see here there's a lot of numbers on this page. Oh my God, it's scary. I just want to be a fan and watch the game. Well, you can't know what's going on with the Winnipeg Jets and what kind of window they're going to be in without looking at these boring numbers. So let's take a look at them. If you take a look at the forwards, we know that Paul Stastny, Mathieu Perrault, Nate Thompson, and Trevor Lewis, there's no time on their contract left after this year. Are they going to re-sign? Stick around, we'll talk about it. We also know that Andrew Copp is a restricted free agent, meaning he can only negotiate with Winnipeg for this year and this year alone. He arbitrated a few years ago. And then we know that Mason Appleton is likely to be picked up by the Kraken unless a move is made. Jansen Harkins and Pierre-Luc Dubois in 2023 need to be re-signed. Then let's go ahead and take a look at this fantastic, let's just take a look at the decor, whoever they are. Morrissey and DeMello, your only two defensemen that are locked up long-term. Neil Pionk is going to need a new contract, and that is going to be a doozy. We'll talk about him in a minute. He's a restricted free agent. Jordy Benn, who just came in, is an unrestricted free agent. Derek Forbert is an unrestricted free agent. Beaulieau, he's locked up. Heinola is locked up. Logan Stanley, restricted free agent. He's going to need a pay raise. Tucker Poolman's an unrestricted free agent, but he's a homegrown talent. We'll talk about him in a minute. That ends up leaving us with, well, most of the defensemen we have. Ryan, you forgot Sami Niku. No, I didn't. Niku sucks. So Connor Hellebuck is locked in till 2024, 2025. That's when he goes free agent. He's in a fantastic deal right now, and I don't think Brian Little is going to be returning to us anytime soon. So that's a quick breakdown of what it looks like, just in case you don't trust my numbers on the next screen. All right, here we go. In 2021 dollars right now, this is just another Excel breakdown of really what is going on and the page we saw last time. These values here in orange, these are the values that I think players are going to be signing for or likely to sign in or around at the time their contract is up. If you go ahead and take a look at the right side, you're going to see a summary of the cap plays that Kevin Cheveldayoff has to make. In 2022, we know the cap is going to come in at about $81 million, maybe $81.5, but we know it is flat for 5 years due to COVID-19. We have 26 players committed in 2022, according to Cap Friendly, with a cap hit of $62 million. Just go to the website, you can double check that. We have 3 players, in my opinion, that are likely to sign with the Winnipeg Jets at a total value of $14.5 million, giving us about 29 players and a total cap hit of $76.5 million. That gives us $4.5 million remaining, which sounds pretty good, until you realize that you have a really nice shiny new toy that you have to re-sign in Pierre-Luc Dubois. And this guy, he's a good player. He's had a bit of a tough year, but he is elite and he is going to command elite level money. And with elite level money comes elite level problems. I'm thinking he's going to come in anywhere about the $8.5 million range, but don't kid yourselves. Luc Dubois could come in at $10 million. There's absolutely no part of me that doesn't believe he couldn't hit those digits if he starts popping off in the next year. You also are going to have Jansen Harkins and Christoph Vesalainen that you need to re-sign. They're going to be cheaper players in 2023. I don't think they're going to have a huge cap hit. It's going to be maybe 1.5 for Harkins. He's a good player. I don't see him leaving the Winnipeg Jets. The Jets are going to be pretty committed to him. And I don't see Vesalainen leaving. I think he's going to be a part of this roster for quite some time. And I think he'll sign a bridge deal of $2.5 million. Okay, let's go backwards now into the 2022 predicted dollars and what the Winnipeg Jets are going to do and why they just didn't pick up a defenseman. Andrew Copp needs to be re-signed. We already know Lowry's done. Copp is going to come in, as I've said, between 4 and 5 million. Let's call it 4.5. We're probably going to lock him in for 4 years too. If you don't agree, comment down below. Jansen Harkins, he's going to need a new deal. Maybe we give him a 1-year bridge deal at $1 million. That's what I'm hoping happens. Could be a little bit less, but we're splitting hairs. Neil Pionk. Neil Pionk is going to get paid.
Here comes the money.
Here we go.
Let me repeat. Neil Pionk, he's getting paid, baby. He wants that money and he is going to get it, and he deserves it. He is a right-handed defenseman, which is rarer in today's NHL than the left-handed defensemen are. We all love him. Winnipeg fans have gone crazy for him. He's physical. He moves the puck. He's going to carry your power play. Neil Pionk is going to deserve $6 million. You don't believe me? Come at me on it. I will roast you below. We can go ahead and go through all the comparables of NHL defensemen. And at $6 million, may not be a deal yet, but it could grow into a deal because he seems to get better year after year. So Neil Pionk, that boy is getting paid. He's burnt most of his entry-level contract playing in the AHL a little bit this year, so that's tough on Winnipeg. It would have been nice to have him up there at that 8.6 mark that he was at before, but we're going to have to bridge him. We'll probably bridge him at 1.5 for 2 years. That's my hope. And Derek Forbort, I think you got to re-sign Derek Forbort. I don't think there's anything you can do about it. But Ryan, Derek Forbort can't skate. You just told me he couldn't. Yeah, he can't skate. Okay, he can't. I know, he's slow AF, but he blocked shots like I said last game. Again, he's going to play a very big and tough role. He's a left-handed defenseman, which hurts because we need some right-handed defensemen, but he is a heart and soul type of guy. He played with Drew Doughty before he came over here. He's carried with Neil Pionk. You'll see very simply when we take a look at the cap in 2023 on the next one, there's no one else that we're going to be able to sign. This guy's going to have to plug in. If he likes Winnipeg, commit to Forbort. Get him in the lineup. The rest of these guys down here, Beaulieau, Niku, Benn, they're gone. They're out. They're not going to re-sign. And if they do, it'll be cheap. They're just depth guys. What do you think? Do you want those guys to re-sign? Tucker Poolman. I think Tucker Poolman may do one more year in Winnipeg. Maybe. He's an unrestricted free agent after this year. There's a lot of people out there that like Tucker Poolman. Let's talk about Tucker really quick. He's got a big hard shot. He comes from the NCAA and he is slow. He is so slow. His transition is awful. He cannot pivot in either direction quick enough to be able to put stick on puck and get in the lane of opposing players. Never mind when you're going to play against elite level players like Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl. This guy is playing on the top line right now with Morrissey. He's a friggin' anchor. Throw it out the boat. He's killing Morrissey. Nobody's going to go to Morrissey's side. Morrissey ends up with a bunch of negatives because just pick on Poolman. I would never skate over to Josh Morrissey if I could just easily skate around the pylon that is Tucker Poolman. Sure, he's got a bombing shot. Sure, he's a big guy. He's a great locker room dude, and he's tough in front of the net. Doesn't matter when you just quickly move around him. We're getting burnt on the rush it is. Poolman, you suck. I'm sorry. Well, I mean, I suck. I don't play in the NHL. You do, but like, you suck. Get out. All right. So what does that leave us with in 2023? Well, if everybody signs in and around the wages that I said they should sign around at, you're going to be at about $83 million. And that is over the cap. And that is not going to account for all of the little players that you have to re-sign. So Winnipeg fans, that means, and I'm sorry to break your heart, Paul Stastny, he's probably not going to have any room to re-sign. Maybe you can get him on a 1 year next year if he wants to take a discount. But let's be honest, Stastny is worth $6 to $6.5 million. Someone will pick him up. This guy's packed his bags. He's a traveling player. He's gonna go to another team. I don't think he can stay in Winnipeg. Perrault probably coming in about $2.5 million next year. But again, we can't keep him. We won't have the room to keep Mathieu Perrault. Thompson and Lewis, fine signings. I mean, if they can sneak in at $750,000 for 1 year, maybe we'll keep one or two of them. Nate Thompson's a nice player. Trevor Lewis is way faster than I ever thought he would be at 34 years old. So I have no problem if they keep these guys as depth guys. But unfortunately, Stastny and Perrault, gonzo. So Poolman, Niku, Beaulieau, Stastny, Perrault, done. That's my opinion. Okay, so let's take a look at what this roster is going to look like in 2023. We know in 2021 that we've spent about $81 million due to capfriendly.com. Our lineup, if nobody is injured, is Stastny, Scheifele, Wheeler, Connor, Dubois, Ehlers, Copp, Lowry, Appleton, Lewis, Thompson, Perrault. What a top 12. Cap hit numbers are below, centermen are in blue. Morrissey and Poolman, Forbert and Pionk, Stanley and DeMello are rounding out your top 6 defensemen in terms of lineup combinations today. And we know we have Ville Heinola and a couple other depth players, including Vesalainen, Gustafsson, and a few more waiting in the wings. Right-handed shots are in red. Moving over to 2023, here is our predictions. Anything in yellow is a predicted contract. So if you see a yellow box, we are predicting that this will be their contract. In 2023, 2 years from today, I think you're going to be sitting on Connor, Scheifele, Ehlers as your first line. I think that's the easiest combo to make. Those are your 3 most elite players at that point in time. Dubois is quite young and good, but Scheifele's still going to be your franchise player. If you don't think those 3 are going to get together, let me know. Your second line, Blake Wheeler, $8.25 million. He's probably going to slip down. Maybe he'll get to play with Scheifele, but in terms of the depth chart, I think Ehlers is already passing him. So by 2023, he's going to be 2 years older. I think Wheels has to step down into a second line role. He might even bump down into a third line role. This could be a very expensive third line player. If you think he could fall into the third line and another player could take his spot up there, let me know. But he's on the team and he's the captain. Dubois, $8.5 million. We really have to cross our fingers that he's able to sign a reasonable long-term deal and Cheveldayoff is able to lock him in for 2 to 4 years into his unrestricted free agency. All that means you do not want to pull a Kyle Dubas or be like the Toronto Maple Leafs, sign up guys for big, long, heavy contracts that do not take away their unrestricted free agency. Cheveldayoff has been excellent at doing that. Let's hope he can do it with Dubois at a deal. Andrew Copp comes in at 4.5. Can you believe Andrew Copp's in the top 6? I can, because players are going to have to move out. So I think Andrew Copp, if he continues on the path that he's on, actually fills in as a top 6 player for the Winnipeg Jets, and he fills in quite well as a top 6 player. Your third line is probably rounded out by Adam Lowry. We know he's locked in. I can't see him beating out Scheifele or Dubois. Vesalainen and Perfetti, they're going to find their way into the lineup. The question is, are Vesalainen and Perfetti going to take out Copp, Wheeler, or either or on the second line? I don't know. Perfetti is going to come in at his final year of his $900,000 deal, and Vesalainen, we are going to hope, gets a bridge deal for 2 years at about $2.5 million. If he comes into the NHL in 2022 and lights it up, well, that's the end of his deal, so he might command a little more than that. But let's cross our fingers and hope he's there. David Gustafsson, I think, is going to round out our 4th line center. I don't see us going out and acquiring another one. We brought this guy in for a reason. He's big, he's strong, he's well developed. By the time he's in, he's probably worth $1 million to 1.5. He'll probably be in the lineup. If he's not, it'll be another replacement level player like a Thompson, but I think Gustafsson takes the spot. Harkins, I think, is going to stay with the Winnipeg Jets as well, too. This is a very good homegrown player. I don't know if he can move anywhere other than the 4th line. Your defensemen are going to be rounded out here by Josh Morrissey, Neil Pionk. I think Pionk's locking in for that $6 million contract. Ville Heinola. Heinola is probably going to come in, let's hope again, fingers crossed, $5.5 million. Let's hope Ville comes in with a pretty good bridge style deal where we can get him a little bit cheaper for a couple years at this point, because I think this guy's got top 10 defensemen written all over him, and that is going to be a big payday. Logan Stanley probably comes in at about 2.5 in 2023, and Dylan DeMello is not off the roster. Let's take a look at the Mathieu Perrault experiment. We thought for years Perrault could be moved, he could be traded. That contract was too expensive. Didn't happen. He played it out. I think DeMello's going to end up playing out this deal. Hate it, but I think Chevy's going to commit to him, so let's hope he develops. And then, it's not $1, it's $1 million. We're going to need to add a defenseman in there for about $1 million. Add that all up with Connor Hellebuck, you're about $81 million, or slightly over. So the Jets, not going to see a huge upgrade on the back end. You're not going to see the Jets bring in an elite top 4 defenseman. This is going to have to be homegrown talent. You're going to have to hope Chevy can control the contracts like he has, and you're going to go forward with what you have. Okay, so what do you guys think? Do you guys think I got it right? Do you think I should mix it up? Do you like the values that are in there? This is one of the most fun topics as a Jets fan. I cannot wait to see where they end up going this year. That decor, it's janky AF. It's going to be tough to figure out this year. Let's hope it develops for 2022 and 2023. big fingers crossed Chevy can lock up some guys to some really good deals. But when you take a look at the numbers, I don't think there's any big surprises coming to Winnipeg. Unless there's a few trades out there, I don't know what else they're going to do. This seems to be pretty set to me. All right, guys, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you guys later. Go Jets, go.